Uh-huh. How is it going? Whoo. Hmm. Yep. Yep. It has been a Monday. For sure. Dang, I just remembered I said I was going to do this before, but I didn't. I did not. Sorry. mm. Hello. Welcome on in. Stuffs to do today, for sure. Ooh, I'm gonna put a little disclaimer up here. What am I looking for? Ooh, what do I want it to say? Mm? Thank you. What do I want it to put? I want to put. Okay. Hey, honeydew, how are you? I miss your face. I've not seen you in a minute. Heck yeah, I love that. Okay. I'm gonna put this little warning right here just so as people come in, um, we are going to be okay. First thing first, it's a pretty good chance we might get canceled today. Hey, okay, I'll be back. I promise I'll be back. But there is a high probability that I might get snipped up out of here today. But we'll worry about that when we worry about it. So we are going to be showing some explicit drawings today. Okay, they will be of genitalia, but it will not be actual real genitalia. They will be drawings of genitalia, but they will be explicit drawings, okay? Because the Bartholin's gland is in an explicit area that you may not even know that you have. So, just a warning, if you on your work computer or if you got your dim your stuff up just to make sure nobody's in your business. But I do think this is really important information because it could cause a panic and chaos when there may not need to be any, right? Any kind of bump that appears in the general area. Okay, yellow. Just close the office door. You know what I mean? But it is important because any kind of bump down there is going to automatically make you think STI. I've got something. They done gave me something, and this is not what that is. This is something that you can have, but this is something very different. So we're definitely going to be going through that today. So again, there will be explicit drawings. I don't know. This morning is not gonna stay up when I put the thing up, but maybe I'll add another one on there too. Okay, yeah, I'll add another one on there. So let me share my screen so we can go through our diddly bop. Okay, and this I know it's gonna be you this time. There we go. Let me move it up so you can see. What is that? That's not supposed to be there today. Today's Monday. That is Thursday. So we're going to hide you and we will unhide you. But we are also going to move you up. maybe not. All right. Okay. So we are going to be talking about Bartholin cyst today. After the stream today, you are going to be able to identify exactly where the Bartholin's gland is located, list at least 2 treatment options for the cyst, and define the difference between an abscess and a cyst. Okay? All right. So, the Bartholin's gland is the opening of the Bartholin's gland is located just outside the vaginal opening. So, if you do not know what these parts are, you have your mons pubis, which is going to be your pubic bone. This whole thing that you can see is going to be called your vulva. Okay, all of this is going to be called your vulva. You're going to have your clitoris, which you should know where that is. Hopefully you do. You are aware that you have a urethral orifice, so you know, most people know that they do have a urethra. But you also have, next to that, you have your Skene's gland. What was that noise? I don't know what that. Oh, okay. You have your Skene's gland, and then this area in here, the tissue around your vaginal opening, is called your vestibule. In that tissue, right on each side of your vaginal opening, is going to be where your Bartholin's gland is located. It's called the Bartholin's gland because that's the dude who found it, or the person who found it. You know, we don't really get creative when All right. So the Bartholin's gland, the purpose of it is it aids in bringing fluid to the vaginal opening during arousal. It helps with lubrication, and it can become really uncomfortable if it's infected. So if you think about how intimate interactions work, your body takes the blood that is moved down into your genital area, and it goes through a process where it sifts the lubrication out of that blood that you have there. And so it moves that and makes it into lubrication, and then it needs to get that lubrication outside of the body to lubricate the vaginal opening so that it is not painful on insertion. Okay, so if you think about how lubrication works, when it's on the inside, yes, it does the job, but there is an area on the outside that also has to be lubricated or needs to be lubricated, and that's where the Bartholin's gland comes in. All right, y'all still with me? Did we get blocked? Can I get a thumbs up or something to let me know that we still here? Because we might not be. Okay, I know that there are some places that have that don't let me show the photos, and I get that. But this is one of the instances where I have to be able to show you so that you can know where it is. So I mean, it's an important part, unfortunately. Okay, I don't see any thumbs up. So did they get us? Are we? Maybe on some stuff. We might have got blocked on some stuff. We'll see. Let me check my email. That'll tell me. Okay, no, it looked like we might be all right so far. Or nobody said anything. Okay, again, it's still okay. Somebody's still there. Okay. Again, I know that this is not content that you are expecting to see on the platforms that you are, but I have wiggled my way into these platforms to be able to teach you like what's going on with your body, but they still have guidelines that they have to manually go around for me to be able to do this. So yeah, it just, anyway. How does it become infected? The gland can become filled with pus and clog up the opening, creating a cyst under the skin. An infected cyst can become an abscess. So the cyst in general is not the issue. It is when it becomes infected and it becomes an abscess that separates the two of those. They aren't sure exactly what causes a Bartholin cyst, but there are some links between certain sexually transmitted infections and the infected gland. Okay? If the duct becomes clogged, it can be uncomfortable to sit, walk, any of the things you need to do to be a functioning adult. Okay, so if you see, this is a visual representation of what it can look like. The difference between a Bartholin's, if you're looking at a bump on your vulva, what you're going to be looking for is something under the skin versus over the skin. That's going to be your first link to let you know if you can feel it under the skin. It'll feel like an abscess, and it will be painful and tender like a cyst. Well, unlike a cyst. So a cyst is just going to be a blockage. You're going to feel the nodule, but it's not necessarily going to be painful. It can be painful due to the position, but it won't be painful to the touch or tender. If it is an abscess, it will be. You will feel that, usually there's some heat, there is some pain, there's some tenderness. Is there also a part of our bodies that can atrophy if we're not active for an extended period of time? So we're going to talk a little bit about that. Absolutely. Absolutely. So anything that is the reason your body creates these avenues, the reasons, and this is even when you think of the process of female ejaculation, the purpose or the reason, the evolutionary reason that medical scientists say that ejaculation exists is to be an extra mechanism that cleans out those pipes, that cleans out your pipes, making you less likely to have urinary tract infections and more likely to engage in sexual activity. So if you are someone who regularly does participate in female ejaculation, you actually have a lower chance of having UTIs, of getting UTIs, and a higher chance of engaging in sexual activity, therefore engaging in reproduction, because that's what the body's doing it for. So yeah, if you do not use these ducts, they can become clogged. All of those pipes are just like regular pipes. When they say if you don't use it, you lose it, what they mean is that those pipes need to be used to make sure that they stay in pristine and proper order. So you can absolutely experience some decrease in function if you are not regularly using those areas. And again, it's the same thing for like a prostate. The reason that they say that the male ejaculation is so important to prostate cancer is because it helps to keep everything in working order, right? It's not necessarily that you need to get it out of your body or any of that, but it's the practice of the pipes staying active and things staying active to keep it in a homeostasis. If you are not participating in regular ejaculation, you could run a higher risk of certain types of diseases and certain types of cancers. And even some of the other things are going to be linked to that we don't even know yet. So yes, the long short answer to that question, the longest short answer is yes. Okay. Other symptoms that you may see with a Bartholin's cyst or a Bartholin's gland cyst is going to be a small lump near the opening of the vagina. That's usually very important because the way that your Bartholin's ducts are placed is what is going to be the difference between it being another kind of bump that you need to be concerned about versus the Bartholin's cyst. So placement is going to be very important in realizing what kind of bump is it? What is the bump? You're going to see redness near opening of the vagina because again, that area is pretty small. That duct, if it becomes inflamed, is going to put pressure on the area, which is going to cause inflammation. Swelling near the opening of the vagina still. Anytime you're creating pockets where things are getting backed up, because essentially what happens is when the cyst becomes clogged the same way a drain becomes clogged. Things can build up in there. A cyst can form. Something gets in there. A cyst forms around it. The body tries to attack it. It creates all these, stuff around it, and then it can be turned into a cyst from that small little whatever it was that was in there. The same thing can happen into the urethra as well. So, with that happening, you are going to experience some type of discomfort during sexual intercourse, sitting and or walking. So any kind of movement, the area of the vulva is already pretty small. When you're not using it, it's not meant to be big. So it's supposed to be aerodynamic. The legs are supposed to move around it. But when you have that cyst, every step is creating friction and pain around that Bartholin's gland, and you will know it. It will not be a secret, baby. You will absolutely know it. Okay. All right, so let me give you another warning. There is an explicit image of a abscess I'm about to put on the screen, but it is not an actual vulva. It is a drawing of a vulva, okay? Just want to let you know that before I put it up. All right. Okay, so an infected cyst, an infected Bartholin's gland cyst is what becomes an abscess. And an abscess is formed the same way all abscesses are formed. If the cyst becomes infected, additional symptoms can develop. These symptoms include pus draining from the cyst, okay? Your body has a lot of different mechanisms that it tries to use to repair itself, and that is going to be one of the signs. Pain, listen. If you've ever had an abscess, they are not quietly hiding out in the body, okay? They will never give you that pleasure, baby. They are loud and letting you know they are there, okay? You're going to have a fever because if it's an infection, your body is prone to going and attacking the infection, which is going to cause the body to overheat in hopes of controlling the infection. And so you will have a fever. Chills, because again, you are fighting an infection, and that is a side effect of infection. Difficulty sitting or walking if it's an abscess and it's leaking, baby, yes. And then pain with sexual intercourse. You're not even going to be interested in any of that. If you have a Bartholin's cyst, you are going to be hella uninterested. So there are certain STIs that can be ruled out if it's a Bartholin cyst. Certain ones like gonorrhea and chlamydia, go ahead and get them off the list. But again, the placement, you can see on here, the placement of the abscess is going to be the indicator that this is not an STI, that this is a blocked or drained duct. And just let's go back. When I talk about how many holes, I know they have that conversation all the time, or how many holes are there actually down there. This is a more accurate representation because these holes are also important. Your Skene's gland can also it is a duct as well, and it can become clogged. Your Bartholin's gland is also a hole that's down there. It's a small little pinhole, which even for your urethra is already small, but people at least are aware that is there. But next to your urethra, there are also two more small pinholes that can become clogged. And then down next to the vagina, there's two more small pinholes that can become infected and can become clogged. So it's important to know exactly how many holes are down there, what you do have down there, and the ways in which they can show up before you know what they are. Because again, I think a lot of people just think, oh, sorry, you missed the explicit. Okay. Sorry, lucky bun, lucky. We're talking about Bartholin's gland cysts today, and that is a part of the vulva. And so we are using some explicit images to show where the cyst is or where the gland is, so that you can be aware and you can know that, the difference between what would be considered an STI bump and what is a Bartholin's gland cyst. Okay, so I definitely apologize You just pop in and there's a big snooch on, on the screen. Sorry, sorry. Okay. So again, how many holes you have down there is actually an important conversation, and it is way more than people are aware of. So these are all of them. This is all the holes that you do have, but it is important to know how many it is. Okay. When I do classes, I usually make people try to guess how many parts it is, and there is rarely do people get the right number of how many parts of your vulva that you need to be aware of, like all the, what does this do, what's that, and all those pieces. So there's more, there's definitely more. Okay, so what do we do? What's going to be our treatment options? If we run into this, how do we help ourselves? What is that going to look like? The first line of treatment for a Bartholin cyst is going to be a warm sitz bath. Soaking 4 times a day for a week can encourage the duct to drain on its own. Over-the-counter medications like ibuprofen or Tylenol can help with the pain. If you cannot soak for 4 times a day, you can also use a warm compress, not a hot, a warm compress. Think of it like a pimple. Again, you're just trying to get this duct to drain. So you can think of it like a pimple, how you would treat a pimple with a warm compress, helps it to break it up and encourages it to drain on its own. Most Bartholin cysts can drain on their own. If you want to see what that looks like on an actual body, you can Google. Let me put it in here. So that you can, if you want to Google what that looks like on actual human tissue, on a human body, you can do that. And I mean, it is explicit, but also, if you're nosy, go check it out. But you can take a sitz bath or do a warm compress to help encourage it to drain on its own, and use whatever means you need to use for it. Let me see. Have a great day. He said, I'll save myself the trauma. Thanks. Totally get it. Have a great day. All right. Okay. So if that doesn't work, and you are noticing that you have reoccurring cysts, or it comes, it goes, or it's coming in, and you're having issues with reoccurring, you may have to go through a procedure to get that taken care of. To unclog a gland, what they usually do is use a balloon catheter, sometimes known as a catheter placement or a fistulization, and they insert it into the duct. The procedure is used to drain the fluid from the abscess or the cyst and to prevent clogging in the future. So they essentially will go into that duct like you do a clog drain. Go in there and balloon it up, hopefully help the stuff get out, to drain it, to get everything out of the way. And if you do have reoccurring issues, they may suggest epithelialization, which is the process of skin. They put the catheter in and they let the skin grow around it. This process, the healing process, can take about 4 weeks. Sometimes it can take longer. And then after the epithelialization, the balloon will be drained and the catheter will be removed. So you're essentially just kind of restructuring the duct so that this doesn't keep coming back or doesn't keep happening in the future. There are some other ways they use. First of all, balloon catheter is an outpatient procedure, so they can have you in and out in the same day if they have to do that. If that doesn't work, there are other less common procedures, including silver nitrate ablation. You can get carbon dioxide laser vaporization, which I think they have moved more toward laser surgery since I last did this class. Jacobi ring placement, or a Bartholin gland incision as a last resort when other modalities have failed. So if they cannot get the cyst out, they will have to go in and put an incision. and get the cyst out. That's usually the last resort, but and not the one that they have to do the most. Contrarily, CO2 laser surgery might be less invasive and more effective as it solves many problems of traditional surgeries. So I do believe that now they are moving for Bartholin cyst. Laser surgeries are the go-to, if I'm not mistaken. So again, if you have it, if you have that reoccurring issue, you do not have to suffer in silence. Again, it's not an STI, which can be really scary if you don't know what's going on with your body. Um, this is a regular issue of regular ducts. If you ever had an ear infection or any other type, you know that things can become clogged, things can become infected that have nothing to do with um, your sexual health. All right, all right. Go. Okay. Things that you need to know. So, if you do have a Bartholin cyst, how do you manage? What are you supposed to do? Um, how does this all tie in together? What do I do? You are going to Our bodies are weird, okay? And if you even if you've never had a Bartholin cyst before, that doesn't mean that as that little snooch gets old or you try something new or any reason there could be, again, they don't know exactly why it happens, but again, it is the way that our bodies work. It could be a plethora of reasons that a duct would become clogged. So even if you don't need this information now, there may be a chance that you're going to need it in the future. So um, just make sure you're taking the tips down if you need them. All right. What are you going to do? You're going to have to avoid sexual contact until the cyst heals. I'm not going to have to tell you that. I am not going to have to tell you that because, baby, you are not going to want anything near that cyst. You're not going to want nothing near it. So, yeah, avoid sexual contact, but also, like, you not going to want that like that. It can be very, very painful. Very painful. So, it's not, oh, let me move this. I'm trying to get this. I don't want the lady to not get her just desserts. Okay, put me down here. My imaginary cartoon lady still need her reparations. She still need to be seen. um, so avoid sexual contact until the cyst heals. It's also important to avoid sexual contact because you are going to be more prone to sexually transmitted infections if your body is already trying to fight an invader. So having sexual intercourse while you are currently experiencing a cyst or an abscess is going to increase the chances of certain types of bacteria making it into that part of the body, and you're going to have a higher probability of catching something. Even if you use condoms or other barrier methods, because not all barrier methods protect against all STIs. Genital warts don't care about your condom, okay? Because it does not care about your condom. So just make sure that you are taking the time to let your body heal before you get back out there. Reoccurring cysts may require additional surgery processes, okay? If they keep coming back, you may have to go back and have more procedures until they figure out, what's going on. This is really not something that you can try to suffer through. You gonna have to lock in and take yourself back to the doctor every time. Okay. Um, Reoccurring Bartholin cysts, I wasn't able to find very much information on like some of the details around people who have reoccurring cysts. They're saying that they just really don't know. They don't know what the preference is for certain types of individuals to get the cyst versus others. So I'm not sure. I wish I had the information, but again, when I get some money, I'll find out. Don't let them get me no money. I'm about to be all in people say I just need like $2 million for my sex research. My sex ed research. Oh, it's so many things I want to check on. Okay. Um So yeah, don't be if you are having issues with reoccurring, don't be afraid to get back in that doctor's office and make them do something. Okay. STIs. Why would you be doing that? STIs may increase the risk of developing cysts. So although STIs are not the reason why you would be developing Bartholin cyst, having sexually transmitted infections can increase the risk of that happening, of different types of bacteria or whatever virus, whoever, getting into that pinhole and clogging up that tube. The tube. You need a tube. So sorry. And tickled myself. So yes, having uh that's not the word I want. Recreational sex without the proper protection can increase the risks of developing the Bartholin's gland cyst and also it being reoccurring. So make sure you're wrapping it up, wrap it all up. Everybody wrapping it, wrap. If you are having reoccurring issues, your doctor may request a biopsy. Now, your doctor may request a biopsy even if you do not have reoccurring issues because they can test that tissues, test that cyst, see where it's coming from, see what kind of tissue is around it. If it's cancerous, where is it? How is it getting there? What's it doing? And that may give them a clue on why you are suffering the way you're suffering or whatever you do have going on. That the human eye cannot delineate. So they may take the cyst and send it off for it to be scoped and tested to make sure that you are still healthy outside of this cyst that's growing. Hold on. Okay, did I mess it up? I did not. All right, so cysts are actually more common during the reproductive years. So, just unfair, right? That's unfair. But it also has something to do with the way that the body uses lubrication and the way that estrogen helps in producing that lubrication. So because you have access to all of your estrogen and that the lubrication is going to be lubing during that time frame, you are more likely to have them pre-menopause than you are post-menopause, right? And from what we understand about um, menopause and reproductive health, that makes sense, right? Because if the access to the estrogen is what is creating the lubrication, and then your ovaries are, they have retired, they are on a beach in Tahiti, enjoying themselves in Fiji, um, you're not going to have everything you need to make that happen. So, a Bartholin cyst is something that you may need to be on the lookout for that is not necessarily about sexually transmitted infections, although the risk can be increased if you do have sexually transmitted infections or you do regularly pick up sexually transmitted infections. All right? Okay, let me see if I got any questions. I feel like I've been talking for a long time. See if it's anything else. Ooh, I didn't realize that was a gland. Cool. It surely is. It surely is. Yeah, we don't have. Listen. And there's some people that even after they go through menopause, they don't. Well, from what they say, um, they do have changes. I did not mean to do that, but we'll just leave it up. They'll have changes or they have experienced changes in their or have not experienced significant changes in their lubrication, whatever. So I mean, it is something that is going to happen, but the process or the way that it changes just, I guess, will depend person to person. So it's not too much you will be able to worry about or control. If you do have any questions about this process, feel free to drop them in the chat, and I will answer them as we go on. Okay, so tomorrow is going to be Tuesday. So it'll be Pleasure Tools Tuesday, where we're going to be talking about adult vacations. I actually needed to reach out to one of my friends. I did not do that. I'm going to do it today. And to get some of her suggestions, because I know she takes a lot of those, and like seeing if we can get, and it's a black woman. So, making sure that I'm creating spaces or recommending spaces that are safe for black folk to be. I don't want to just be like, go here because I see it online, and then, you don't come back. So we're going to be talking about adult vacations tomorrow and how they can really give the bedroom that extra little, charge, a little jump that it needs. Adult vacation is definitely some jumper cables to the sex life, for sure, for sure. And the thing about adult vacations is that it's not even necessarily so much that, you're out being kinky and all these people or whatever, but it's just the freedom to do that if you want, right? And I think that people really enjoy that part of the adult vacations, and watching, people are also, many more people are voyeurs than are exhibitionists. Okay. But the people who are exhibitionists, hey, shout out to you because you do hold it down. But many more people are voyeurs. And so that is a climate where those two worlds collide perfectly because exhibitionists also encourage voyeurs just by existing. And so we love that. So we were talking about adult vacations tomorrow, so 12:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Make sure you show up. All right. And then on Wednesday we're gonna do Ask Coach Catasha, which is easily becoming one of my favorite segments of the week. Ask Coach Catasha is your opportunity to come in and drop your sexual health questions in the chat, and we can answer them and go through them live. We actually had a really good one last week. It was just me and like one other person in there, but it was a really intimate and kind of like it felt like a session. I really had a good time. Anyway, so you can come in and ask your sexual health questions. If you are shy and you don't want people in your business like that, you can send your questions to expressionoverrepression@gmail.com, or you can drop your questions into any of my social media platforms. You can drop it in the inbox. I am still working on that, being good at that. I'm not perfect at it yet, but I'm getting better for sure, of like checking all the request boxes. It's just so much social media. Oh my gosh. Like, it's just so much stuff, and I'm not um I'm old school. So I be wanting to be outside and people be wanting to be on the phone. So you can send it to any of my social medias as well, and I will be happy to um, bring that question back to the chat on Wednesday, and we can answer it together. On Thursday, SexEc Thursday, we're going to be talking about our new toys and data harvesting, and what are some of the implications or the things that people are worried about as sex toys become more personal and personalized and start and they have control of certain types of data on the body. What does that look like in a corporate sense, right? So we're talking about a little bit of data harvesting. And then on Friday, we will have late night with Coach Catasha, where you will come in and we will just chat. Oh man, I end up crying, laughing every Friday. I don't know what it is. I just being here. Oh, y'all are nuts, and I love every bit of it. So that is going to be Friday at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. So make sure you're coming in, hanging out with us then. Um, What's today? Monday? Yeah, Monday. So yeah. Okay, what else? Let me see. Let me go check all my stuffs. I have had a weekend, baby. I did not get any rest this weekend. I did not get to do none of that stuff. Like, I was running the whole weekend. I didn't get to do any, the things you need to do to like prepare yourself for the week. Nope. But I did get to. My brother came over and showed me how to change my oil. So I was pretty excited about that. I got to do that. Change my oil. So pretty hype. What else did I get to do? Oh, I got to hang out with my nephew, so do that stuff too. But yeah, the weekend's been crazy. My garden looks a mess. Like I need to get out there and get my like winter crops going, but I have not done that yet. And like it's grass growing all in my rocks and all kind of stuff. I'm like, you're so rude. It's so rude to just be growing in there while I'm still trying to do stuff. Oh, a couple of other things. Um, what about this? Um, okay, I can close that out, and then I can change. Let me show you something. I'm finally being responsible, and I got my Patreon set up. Okay, so um, we're doing a class on Wednesday, and I did a flyer for it. I haven't downloaded it yet, but it's gonna be on my Patreon on Wednesday. I'm gonna be showcasing some of my favorite toys. Well, some of my clients' favorite toys. I'm gonna let them over the years. They have, they like what they like. So I'm going to be showing on Wednesday. What time is it gonna be? It's gonna be Wednesday night. Wednesday night, maybe. I don't know what time yet. I'll figure it out today. Cause I'm like, you know what? It's probably gonna be right after Ask Coach Catasha. It's gonna be it. So we're gonna say 4, probably about 4. Cause Ask Coach Catasha goes off at 3:30. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that. Then we'll do that. Okay, I'll run it by. I'll have to see because I didn't think about like, what time of day is this gonna be? I haven't made it to that part of the flyer yet. That's why I hadn't been downloaded. Also, oh my gosh. Okay, so Halloween's coming up. I love Halloween and all the stuff, and I'm gonna try something new this year. Of course, I'm always trying something new, but I'm really gonna try something new this year, and we're gonna see. We're gonna see. We're gonna see. I have no idea how I'm gonna pull it. When I say I have no idea, I have no idea. But that ain't never stopped me before. It's literally never stopped me from doing nothing at all. Okay. Let me give you my Patreon link so that if you want to follow me, it's only right now until September the 1st. You can join the tier for $3 and you will receive the benefits of the next tier up for life. So this is just the introductory. Everybody who gets in before September 1st will receive the benefits of the next tier, which is going to be, of course, picking shows and doing all that. And then this tier will just be a support tier. So right now it's just a support tier, but you will be grandfathered into the next benefits tier if you join now. You have until until what is it? October 1st, September 1st, October. Is it? Oh, look, I do so much stuff. I don't even. I don't even know. Like that's who I don't even know. Okay, okay. Doo-boo-doo-doo-doo. Yeah, I think it's October. October 1st. Yeah, October 1st. October. So everybody who's getting in now, you will get in at the $3 a month, and then after that, so what we're going to be doing on Patreon is there are things that you all want to know that I don't have the platform to teach on because it is considered extremely explicit. But I also think that it's super important that you have access to that data, that you know that information. Just because it is explicit does not mean that it needs to be unavailable. And so I had to find a platform because, people are leaving questions. They're asking about, different types of orgasms. They're asking about G spots and all this stuff. And I can't, I don't have the platform to do that. And so this gives me the platform to be able to teach some of those kinkier subjects without being censored in that way. Okay? All right. All right. All right. So that is, oh, I just passed it. Go. All right. That is our stream for today. We'll give it a little bit more, see if anybody got any questions or anything. Let me go. Let me start looking because I don't be paying attention. Okay, okay. What about? Did you let me pick the color? No. And no. Thank you. Okay, let me see. Let me see. So far, so good. Okay. All right, all right. Okay, well, it looks like we are good. Tomorrow, I will see y'all back here at 12:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, where we're gonna be talking about adult vacations. Oh, I didn't get to tell y'all. So on Friday, we had our girls' night. I don't know if you missed it, you're bad. But my best friend, she made hot hamburgers, and I had forgot this whole weekend because I've been running, running. I didn't even eat it all yesterday. Well, I had a sandwich like 8:30. But I had forgot all weekend. And so then last night I was in the refrigerator and I was like, oh, I have leftovers. So I'm about to go in here and mess my leftovers up. I am so excited. I just had to share that with you because you need to know that I'm finna go eat so good. So good. And I'm super hype about it. Man. So I will see y'all back here tomorrow. Make sure y'all got your swim trunks and your two-piece ready because I'm going to have your best suggestions for some adult vacations. All right. I will see y'all tomorrow. Peace and